When you're first infected, you probably won't notice. Once you realize that you've been infected, it will be too late. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, there is no cure for earworms. I'm not talking about some kind of parasite or insect. It's actually much worse than that. Earworms are those songs that get stuck in our minds and drive us to the very edge of madness. Now, it's important to understand there's a difference between earworms and the songs that we often hum or sing to ourselves. Those are actually much like karaoke, though generally without the recorded instrumental background and the public drunkenness. Earworms exist entirely within our minds, and they're audible only to us. It's as if a radio station with a one-song playlist is broadcasting to a tiny receiver that's been embedded deep in your brain. They can strike us at the most inopportune moments. You're talking to your boss about your annual performance review, and suddenly the village people are singing YMCA. That's harder than it looks, by the way. YMCA. You're talking to your significant other about how much he or she means to you. And there's Freddie Mercury singing, we will rock you, followed by Brian May's guitar solo. Why do earworms try to drive us crazy like this? Believe it or not, there's been substantial research into earworms. The bad news is that none of the researchers understand them. The best guess is that something drives a song deep into our memory, and then later, some totally unrelated prompt causes it to surface again. My own 40-year struggle with earworms began in 1972 when my wife and I combined a delayed honeymoon with the all-American ritual of a drive to Southern California to visit Disneyland. We saw everything there, including It's a Small World. Oh yes. Chains of little boats, which are actually wheeled carts following a track in an 18-inch deep canal, pass by over 300 audio animatronic dolls dressed in costumes from around the world. They dance and sing the title song, which is dedicated to world peace and understanding. Most people think it's kind of cute. And so did we until we were about halfway into the ride. Suddenly, the little boats lurched to a stop, the lights came up, and a half dozen Disney employees began circulating around, ordering us to remain seated. They were worried that if anybody tried to walk out, they could be hurt when the ride started up again. Fine, we could stay in our little boats, but not everything had stopped working. The music, that insipid song, kept playing loudly, repeatedly. It's a small world after all. Go ahead and join in if you dare. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. Boy, isn't that a catchy tune? Trust me, it would be a lot catchier if you heard it 100 times in a row at extremely high volume. After about the first 5 minutes, people were asking if there might be some way to lower the volume just a bit. After about a half hour, those same people were shouting obscenities and beseeching God to end their suffering by striking them deaf. Finally, after 45 horrifying minutes, the ride started up again, and we escaped the hellish pit full of demonic dolls to emerge into the outside world, apparently without any harm. Or so it seemed. I noticed on the ride home the next day that that song kept popping into my mind. It kept doing that for the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months, the next few years, the next few decades. Unfortunately, the researchers say there's no cure for earworms. However, they do suggest a potential palliative measure, and that is to replace the earworm with a different earworm. Now that's clearly a very risky strategy, but I'm desperate enough to try it. I've been giving some thought to a song that I might find less loathsome than It's a Small World. And I think I have it, but I need your help to drive it into my memory. Everyone on this side of the room is going to provide the rhythm section for Louie Louie, while everyone on this side of the room provides the vocals. Now this is American classical music, so you already know how it goes. Okay, rhythm section, are we ready? Da-da-da, da-da, da-da-da. Everybody join in. Da-da-da. Okay, vocals. Da-da-da, da-da, Louie, da-da, okay, I think that's enough. First of all, none of you should quit your day job. But second, I think it's working. I can feel the earworm beginning to dig into the side of my brain. If you're similarly susceptible, you have my apologies. However, I do appreciate your sacrifice on my behalf. And now, Madam Toastmaster, me gotta go.
Mr. Slimer, a minute on the clock.